Welcome, everyone. Today, we are going to virtually visit Mexico. Specifically, we're going to be visiting Puerto Vallarta. I have been to Puerto Vallarta so many times, and I really do love it, so I can't wait to share it with you. So before we get started, I do have a few tips for any of our new viewers. This is a live presentation, so there can be moments when your screen freezes. Please be patient, as it should correct itself within about 30 seconds. If you are viewing today on a handheld device, you may want to unlock your screen view and turn your device sideways to landscape mode, which is the side. There you go. And you're more than welcome to take any screenshots. Sometimes we do have websites or contact information up on the screen, and you may want to keep that info up for future reference. We do also have a Q&A chat function that's going to be available on the right-hand side of your screen. At the end of the presentation, we will have a Q&A session with our experts featured today. So please post your questions in that chat and we'll ask them during that Q&A session. So joining us today, we have Elvira, who's from the Puerto Vallarta Tourism Board. Plus, we have Jenny from our SellOffVacations office in Winnipeg. Jenny used to live in Puerto Vallarta and has been back many times, and she's definitely would love to share those memories with you. Before we get to our questions for Elvira, we do have a short video on Puerto Vallarta to start us off. Okay, I think we've got no sound on that. So while we're enjoying the view, maybe Elvira, can you tell us a little bit about your background, a little bit about yourself?
Oh, yes, for sure. Thank you very much for this opportunity, Sherry. Hello, everyone. I will start this presentation saying that my second favorite country in the world is Canada. I used to live there in Vancouver with the West Coasters. So I'm very happy to share with you all the wonders that you can find once you come here. I've been working, Sherry, over 5 years in the Puerto Vallarta Tourism Board. First in the public relations department, attending media, travel bloggers, influencers, and so on. And nowadays, I am more in the side of the commercialization in the same organism. So always happy to be an ambassador of my town and also to be an ambassador of my country, which is Mexico. And definitely, we are inviting you today to revive your desire to travel. And what better to come and down to Puerto Vallarta. We know that over this quarantine time, it's been a hard time for every one of you, but I will tell you today that we are more than ready to receive visitors from Canada when the time is ready, of course, and when the airlines start resuming flights to our destination.
Okay. That's great. So can you tell us that is usually the number, that's how we start everything off, as we usually do ask you, is Puerto Vallarta reopened for business from COVID? Can we visit?
Yes, it's totally opened since June 15th. We reopened the tourist operation here in the destination in all the service chain. Well, it's been the opening. It's been gradually since we started like with the hotels operating at 30% capacity. Nowadays, the hotels are permitted to open at 50% capacity. Of course, implementing and respecting all the measurements that are mandated from our local authorities, and also as a certified destination by the World Travel and Tourism Council. We are guaranteeing our visitors a safe environment when you come to Puerto Vallarta. The restaurants have been open since they were an essential activity in the destination. They are also respecting social distancing, applying some protocols that you may be familiar with already, such as the temperature checkups. We provide hand sanitizer as well at the entrance of every establishment in Puerto Vallarta. We also have this sanitized carpet at the entrance as well to prevent everyone from any pathogens that could be with visitors and to avoid any kind of problem. And of course, our activities, which are very important because Puerto Vallarta is a destination that definitely launches many experiences to visitors. This is what makes us unique from other beach destinations in Mexico, Sherry. I will say that we have more than 50 activities to offer to our visitors. So the tour operators here are also permitted to open, of course, adhering to the protocols that the authorities demand, and accepting in smaller groups. As you may know, the new normality leads us to have this kind of smaller groups in every single establishment in the destination as well.
Okay. So we know that Puerto Vallarta is a top-selling destination for Canadians. Can you share with our viewers what you feel it is that draws Canadians to want to visit Puerto Vallarta, besides our poor weather in the winter?
Exactly. Well, that's the first one. I will say that is one of our strengths as a beach destination. And also because Puerto Vallarta is a perfect combination of authenticity, the traditional side with the modern side as well, because we are a very cosmopolitan city. Also, since we host many visitors from all over the world, but we keep our charm as a Mexican town. So you as a visitor will feel in the real Mexico. We will bring to you our culture, our traditions, and good food for sure, because we are a foodie destination for those that want to try the best Mexican treats in Puerto Vallarta. We have so many food walking tours to try to have a proper tequila tasting. Remember that we are located in the West Pacific coast in Mexico, within the state of Jalisco. And Jalisco is the land of mariachi, the tequila, and our national sport, la charreria. So many people are able to come and encounter our strong cultural heritage we have here, and they won't regret. I will bet that our hospitality is exceptional. People make feel the visitor as part of our home. And since we are a very small town, we receive every customer as a VIP here. We love to pamper them, to embrace them, and make them feel part of our beautiful Puerto Vallarta.
Awesome. So can you tell us what are some of the must-see and must-do things when you're visiting Puerto Vallarta?
Well, yeah, many things. Currently, during this summertime, there is almost done, unfortunately. We are hosting the Sea Turtle Release Program. And we have a very prominent families of turtles that come to the same place where they were born. And for millions that they are born in the year, only 1% of them survive. Therefore, it is very important to preserve the species in the bay. Remember that we are located, as you can see on my background, in one of the largest bays in the world, which is our Banderas Bay. Therefore, our marine life is super rich. You will get to encounter the whales that come from your country during the winter to release babies here in the bay from November to April. During this summertime, from June to December, many families get the chance to release a turtle as part of many hotels programs. And it's a very unique experience that I highly recommend to do once you come to Puerto Vallarta. This is kind of a complimentary activities you can find in many all-inclusive resorts in the destination. Also, our bay also allow us to encounter our playful bottle-nosed dolphins in Puerto Vallarta. So it's a once-in-a-lifetime experience that you cannot miss when you come. And another great activity is to go and experience Rhythms of the Night, which is one of our premium activities where you come to Puerto Vallarta. It's a show under the stars. It is actually directed by one of the co-founders of Cirque du Soleil. So it has a little bit of Canadian essence in it within the show. I love it. And it's located in a very secluded beach in the south area of the bay. Remember that what also makes it special Puerto Vallarta, besides its weather, its food, its people, and its traditions, is also that we have our beautiful mountains that also offer you many ecotourism and adventure experiences facing and encountering the nature.
Okay. So you were speaking earlier about there's tons of restaurants. You were talking about the restaurants and the food and the tequila. Can you tell us what's the one food and one drink item that you absolutely have to try when you visit?
Well, as I said, you have to try that good tequila in Puerto Vallarta, because sometimes I have experienced that in Canada, you get to know some very commercial brands that are not actually like the most crafted ones, like the more artisanal ones. When you come, try to go to a very local restaurants to get the chance to have a proper tequila tasting. But also we have a special beverage that can be produced here, and it is protected by the denomination of origin in Puerto Vallarta. Its name is La Raicilla. It is a kind of mezcal. It comes from the agave plantations family as well. But on the contrary of the tequila, the raicilla comes from the green agave, while the tequila comes from the blue agave. So when you come, this beverage has over 300 years of existence here in the Bay. It's very authentic. I highly recommend you to try it when you come. And of course, our seafood. We are the home of the greatest seafood in town. You saw already some images of the fish on the stick that is easily found, or the shrimp on the stick, which are just grilled and marinated with a special Mexican sauce. It's very unique, and it is not that spicy, so you can handle it.
Okay.
I believe.
All right. So shopping's another thing that we usually ask about on the show. What are some of the top items that you can purchase when you're visiting Puerto Vallarta?
Well, of course, try to get a bottle of raicilla or tequila on your luggage for sure, and buy it from a local vendor here in the destination. But also, Sherry, as you may know, Mexico is a very multicultural destination. We are very diverse, and therefore we have 68 indigenous groups in the whole country. And the one that belongs to the state of Jalisco and many other states in Mexico, it's our Huichol group, which is an ethnical group that they come down from their communities in the Sierra Madre to display and to offer their handcrafts. They are very unique pieces made of these crystal beads, and they just stick every single bead with beeswax. It is very unique. So every single piece of this art has a very meaningful. Yes, it is very meaningful because it can lead you to have a prosperity or success or good luck in life. So make sure to ask them what is the proper piece that can represent yourself and your soul, and it'll bring to you any of these elements that I already mentioned.
Oh, that's so neat. I didn't even know that. I've been to Puerto Vallarta many times, and that's the first time I've heard that. So I'll definitely next time be watching out for that. So I hear conflicting from people in terms of currency. What sort of currency should I be bringing? Can I take Canadian? Do I need to take US? Can I use pesos?
It's a very good question, Sherry, by the way, because here in many establishments, they do accept US dollars, and in lower number of them, Canadian dollars. So Canadian dollars are also accepted, but I would highly recommend you to exchange your dollars to pesos, since the exchange rate is very good for you guys. Currently, it's like $1, 16 pesos.
Oh, wow.
That's very convenient for visitors. Your money really has a very high value when you come to Mexico and to Puerto Vallarta. And you will find our menus in pesos, and you can decide if you want to pay cash or also credit card. It's major accepted as well in town.
Okay. And what about language? Is English widely spoken?
Since Puerto Vallarta is a tourist destination, Sherry, yes. We have a very widely spoken community here in the destination, so you will easily find locals like having a conversation with you in any corner.
Okay, awesome. And what about rainy season? If I want to avoid rainy season, when should I travel?
You should travel then from, I will say, November to April. It's our dry season. I will say it is not that humid as it is currently. I will say that the most humid month in Puerto Vallarta is September, by the way. And well, those are part of our high season months. So, and also over this season, from November to April, we host so many festivals in terms of gastronomy, cultural events, farmers markets. So it's the best time that I will suggest you to come. And also, it's when we have the highest connectivity throughout Canada. So it's the best time just to come down to Puerto Vallarta.
Okay, awesome. And one thing I know that when I was down there, people talked a lot about movies that had been filmed in the area. And I know sometimes people, if you have a trip planned or you want to go somewhere, you want to be able to watch a movie to kind of see some of that scenery. Are you able to tell us some of the popular movies that have been filmed in Puerto Vallarta?
Well, yes, Puerto Vallarta undoubtedly is a movie set since 1960s. The very first movie that was filmed in the destination was The Night of the Iguana. Richard Burton, that you can see it on the screen, was part of the starring in this movie. Many people tend to think that Elizabeth Taylor was part of this movie, but she wasn't. She just ended up to film Cleopatra in Italy, and she decided to come down to Puerto Vallarta to relax and have a vacation while she was having an affair with Richard Burton. Therefore, this romance gave us pretty much the popularity around the world as a beach destination in Mexico. Back in the 60s, Puerto Vallarta used to be a very small fishing village, like nothing around but nature. And this is what appeals the director of The Night of the Iguana, John Huston, to come down and start this movie. And well, another great movie set is the Eden, where the Predator movie was filmed. Arnold Schwarzenegger in the 80s came to film this movie. And when you come to Puerto Vallarta, you still see some remaining like production pieces here in this area in the destination. That natural park is a water park, is located in going south Puerto Vallarta, and they also include a zip lining tour, and there is a restaurant just to sip a margarita and say salud with your family and friends.
Okay, awesome. So most people want to get away out of Canada and they want to go hit the beach. So what are your favorite beaches in the Puerto Vallarta area?
In the well, our beaches, first of all of them are swimmable. That is very important to have in mind. We have 3 of them that have the Blue Flag certification, which means that they are clean, swimmable, and we have a lifeguard taking care of our visitors. And definitely my favorite ones are located in the south. Geographically, if you go to the south, Sherry, you will find that you will be surprised how clear the water is. As you can see on the image, we started from Conchas Chinas, like 5 minutes away from downtown Puerto Vallarta, and all along the coast, you will find very paradisiacal beaches such as Las Gemelas, Mismaloya, where The Night of the Iguana was filmed at, the smallest beach considered in our country called Calomitos, this one that is on the screen. Las Caletas, Quimixto, Yelapa, those are my favorite ones, and they are very secluded. So it's one of my best recommendations that I can give you. There are plenty of water taxis. One of the piers that you saw already is the Los Muertos Pier, where you can depart from, or our small town, Boca de Tomatlan, which is the last access by road to get to know any of these beaches I already mentioned.
Okay. And the last question I have for you before we hear from Jenny, and then we'll have you back for Q&A, but what is your very best insider tip for visitors to Puerto Vallarta?
Well, to enjoy our beautiful and dramatic sunsets here in the Pacific, I would recommend you a very local spot called Barracuda. It's a restaurant in town, in downtown Puerto Vallarta, to try the best al pastor shrimp tacos or the grilled octopus. That is one of my favorite ones. Also, a very nice spot is the Lighthouse, which is in the Marina, 5 minutes away from the airport. It's a beautiful spot, very romantic, the perfect spot also to enjoy live music with salsa, bachata, or really good vibes. It's a very good ambience that you can find there. And there is another good spot called the Happy Lobster, La Langosta Feliz, which is 10 minutes away from Puerto Vallarta area. It's heading to the hills, and they have an excellent view of the bay and very good seafood as well to try.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Elvira. Like I said, we'll have you back at the end for the Q&A. Jenny, can you share your vacation memories with us? I understand you used to live in Puerto Vallarta.
Hi, Sherry, and hi, hola, everyone. Yes, I did live in Puerto Vallarta. Anyways, my name is Jenny Lukey, and I've been working for SellOffVacations for the last 7 years in the Winnipeg office. I love that I get to talk about Puerto Vallarta, one of my most favorite places on earth, not only due to traveling, but also I used to call it home from 2002 to 2004. Puerto Vallarta is quite large. There is so much to see and do from Nuevo Vallarta all the way down to Old Town. But I don't want to take up your whole day, so I'm just going to tell you a few of my favorite spots. I have been to Puerto Vallarta multiple times, and one thing I can recommend to people is to make it to the Malecon for at least one day. The Malecon is a walking pathway along the ocean that has eateries, bars, and shopping. It starts at the McDonald's. Yes, I did say the McDonald's, and it now goes all the way to Los Muertos Beach. The Malecon was a walking path with a street between it and shops like the picture on the left. In 2011, they remodeled the Malecon, deciding to take the street away altogether, as you can see from the picture on the right, and it is now only for pedestrians. If you're going, Sundays is probably the best day to go due to Family Day. There are so many vendors out, locals, and entertainment. The Malecon has many sculptures to see. Here is two of them now. But in the next picture, you will see the very first one ever, being the boy on the seahorse, which is now in a great location for pictures with the Puerto Vallarta sign around it. Each sculpture does have a meaning, which you can Google later on if you would like to. In the middle of the Malecon, there is a church of Our Lady of Guadalupe, which is iconic. It is open daily with services in English on Saturdays and Mass in English and Spanish on Sundays. There is a square in front of it and also the arches, which can be busy in the evenings with entertainment from clowns to musical to folklore dances. If you are adventurous, you can walk behind the church up a hill or ask around to find the legendary Casa Kimberly. Like Elvira said before, it was two houses on each side of the street, one owned by Elizabeth Taylor and the other owned by Richard Burton, and a bridge of love that connected them together. Casa Kimberly is now open to the public as a place to stay, a restaurant, and you can actually go on the Love Bridge. If you continue on the Malecon to the furthest south, you will hit Playa Los Muertos, also known as the Romantic Zone or Old Vallarta. The atmosphere here will always feel like home to me, and it is very lively. There is so much to see and do along Olas Altas and the water. This is the new pier that they just built. As you can see, it lights up at nighttime. I recommend walking along the way and then finding a restaurant or a bar to sit at and watch the lovely sunsets, which are always breathtaking in what the Pacific is known for. Here is two of my most favorite pictures of the sunset and one that I got creative with. That is the angel statue on the Malecon. There is so many restaurants in Puerto Vallarta, and it would take me forever to go through all of them, but there is a few I will suggest. First, it's Pepe's. If you walk along the Malecon and hit the street named Calle Pipola and walk inland, you will find peepees. As you can see from the pictures, the outside does not look like a lot, but the inside is quite large and is full of love and good food, and for me, the most delicious Mexican food I have ever eaten, and their guacamole is to die for. By the way, you do have to ask for their guacamole, and then a server comes to your actual table and prepares it right in front of you. As you can see in the picture of me and my parents, the guacamole and drinks do not come in small sizes. Just a tidbit, if you don't finish your drink, you can always ask for it to go. Para llevar. If you would like somewhere to go to see the lights of Puerto Vallarta, I would recommend Las Carmelitas or Casa Isabel. As you can see in my pictures, the views are to die for. They are both on hills, so a taxi is a must to get to these places. So you can sit back, relax with a drink in your hand, and probably bellies full, and watch the sunsets on Puerto Vallarta and the twinkling lights glow in the night. In Old Town, there's a street called Paseo Badillo, where it is restaurant after restaurant. I was just there this December, and there are so many new ones and also so many old ones from 2002. I have to mention my parents' favorite called Cafe de Olla. Here's a picture of my dad with his seafood soup, not realizing the octopus was stuck to a spoon. I have done a few excursions, but I'm going to talk about two of them today. My first one is the one I did this December, the Mary Galante, the pirate ship. Being from the prairies, we decided to do the funny show they do once a week called the Last Saskatchewan Pirates. Check-in for the excursion was at 5:45 p.m. at the marina, and at that time they tell you the name of your pirate that will be with you all night. Ours was Pirate Fish, who's the guy on the left with the hat. With knowing which is your pirate, everything went seamless, from getting onto the boat to where you sit to when you eat and so on. We left for the open waters at 7 p.m. with a drink in our hand since we got the open bar. During the whole time, we were very well entertained by the staff on the ship. We played games, sang songs, laughed, and even danced. For supper, you do go below deck to like a real-life pirate feast and party. I, of course, had the surf and turf, but there's a lot of other options of meals to decide from. After the meals, you go back to the main deck and watch a real-life pirate adventure. It was pretty neat. The next excursion is the Rhythms of the Night. We were picked up from the Puerto Vallarta Maritime Terminal at the marina, and then was put on a catamaran and sailed along the shore till we hit the beach called Las Caletas. You can go to this beach during the day as an excursion as well, but at night it's transformed to this outdoor theater and restaurant. When we arrived on the beach, there were a lot of picture-perfect moments like these, while they led us to the tables for an outdoor meal. The meal was buffet style and delicious, with a lot of options to choose from. After the meal, you can walk around, but please be very careful as it's poorly lit and not a flat walking path. I do want to say, though, that the ambiance is something I cannot explain, and you have to go and see and feel for it for yourself. It is just so unique. After a bit, you are then led to an open-air theater where a sort of Cirque du Soleil meets Mexican folklore show is performed, and all I can say is wow. The show does change, so you may go back a few times in different years, and the show can be a bit different each time. The opening act for the show, this was the opening act for the show, and even though he didn't speak a word of English, you still laughed at him and his comedy routine. And of course, the take-home picture is a must for all your memories. I'm going to tell you both excursions were well worth every penny we spent, and I'm sure TripAdvisor would agree with me 100%. In Puerto Vallarta, you can really do anything from fishing to snorkeling out at Los Arcos or the Marietas Islands. The picture on the right is Hidden Beach at Marietas. It is only accessible when the tide is low, so access is never guaranteed. If you need to know what Hidden Beach is, it is described as a cave open to the sky where white sand beaches meet the Pacific Ocean. Some people cannot believe that it's real. This is the only place in the world other than the Galapagos that you can see the blue-footed booby bird. You can also go zip lining or to the botanical gardens or to the zoo. The zoo, you can actually feed some of the animals and get up close and personal to some, like the giraffe in this picture. Outside of Puerto Vallarta, you can go beach hopping from Sayulita one day and Yelapa another day. Just a tidbit, you can surf at Sayulita and you can hand glide in Yelapa. I would also like to mention the nightlife. For some reason, you can party till the sun rises in Puerto Vallarta at your choice of bar anywhere, from the Senior Frogs on the Malecon to Christine's in Hotel Zone. The one place I really like to mention is a hidden gem, and it's called Andalays. It is still there on Olis Altus, serving lunch during the day, and people from ages 18 to 99 partying till wee hours in the AM, to music from the 70s to the now. You can walk into this bar with 2 friends and walk out with possibly 50 more by the end of the night. It's a must place to have a drink and mingle and possibly dance the night away. While I'm going to end my chat by saying if you like fireworks and New Year's, I would tell you that you must go to Puerto Vallarta for December 31st. The whole bay is full of fireworks. You can turn your head from the left to the right and see them everywhere. Here is one picture from my New Year's this year, and it just does not justify what I experienced. It is absolutely spectacular. If Puerto Vallarta is on your bucket list, please feel free to contact me at winnipeg@selloffvacations.com. Gracias!
Thank you so much, Jenny. I loved all your photos. Thanks for sharing them with us. Shannon, how are you today?
I'm doing really great, Sherry. Thank you for asking.
Good. Good. Do you have lots of questions for the experts?
Yes. Thanks, Elvira and Jenny. That was really great information that you've shared. And we did have quite a few questions come in here, so I will get started with those. Elvira, I'm going to start with you. And let's see here. So the first one, Elvira, is I think you spoke about villas in your presentation. And someone asked, are there villas open for groups and families?
Oh, yes, they do. They are open already. They are following the same protocols as I said, respecting the 50% capacity. So the landlords have to advise this previous to do the booking and reservation. So it is important to have in mind that all the establishments currently in Puerto Vallarta are operating and permitted to open. Well, if they respect the 50% capacity, and of course, if they have approved all the local certifications in terms of sanitation, disinfectation, and so on. So this is a very important bullet point that you have to have in mind. As I mentioned, as a global certified beach destination by the World Travel and Tourism Council, we needed to apply for many steps and protocols in order to have this certification and then start with the reopening as within the tourist industry.
Okay, thank you so much. Another one here that I think actually just ties into that, so I'm going to skip ahead to it for you, Elvira. Someone actually just asked, how would the pirate ship and many of the crowded restaurants work now under COVID-19? So I suspect it's very similar to what you were just speaking of about the villas, like as long as they're adhering to the new COVID rules. Can you speak about that a little bit?
Yes, that is correct. The pirate ship, like the rhythms of the night, crew, as in the hotels, many rules and protocols have changed. Currently, we have to be very conscious that the way of traveling have changed totally. So we as a visitor also have the responsibility to follow those rules in order to have a great experience as well while you're having a vacation in Puerto Vallarta, because we are putting all the safety elements to take care of you, and the double, I will say, because all the hotel staffs, restaurants, bars, and nowadays discotheques, they are wearing like double protection. Not only the face mask, they also have the face shield to protect and to have the responsibility to fill out medical questionnaires every day at work. If someone from the staff is not feeling well, they are not willing to work in any establishment in Puerto Vallarta. And the tours operate the same way. They are receiving 50% of capacity in order to respect social distancing. Remember that we here and I believe in every part of the world, you have to respect at least 2 meters of distance from one person to the other, and 5 meters like from one party to the other. So nowadays, our tour operators are very well prepared with this type of protocols. And remember that the buffets are not allowed anymore. So now the way to have the meals and snacks and all the meals on board have changed. They will come to your table or come to your seat to provide the food with the highest standards that you can imagine here in the destination as well. I don't remember what was the last question, like about the pirate ship and.
Yeah, no, they just were referring to like it said, how would the pirate ship and many of the crowded restaurants work now under COVID-19? So I think you explained that fine.
Okay.
Yeah, and then another one kind of that ties into it, and I think this is kind of a personal preference as to how our consumers feel. But someone just asked, is it safe to go there now with COVID-19 with all the protocols that are in place?
Yes, it is. Just to have an idea, statistics that we got from many surveys, we received, because we do not have Canadian flights yet. Like the Canadian airlines are not operating yet, unfortunately, but we have news that they will resume flights this fall winter time, starting from late September on. So Air Transit, for example, they just said that they will resume some flights late September. We have some others. WestJet already confirmed to us that they will resume flights like late October. So we hope that we will have this at least a percentage of the great connectivity we used to have with our main commercial partners such as Sunwing, Swap as well, and Air Canada, which are tentatively reoperating as well frequencies over the fall winter time. And again, retaking your question, these companies wouldn't be reoperating their frequencies and operation if they weren't sure that they are bringing their customers to a safe environment, to a safe destination. So yes, it is safe. We have received, just to have an idea, over 55,000 visitors from the United States only in the months from June and July. Okay. So these customers, I mean, they have come, enjoy their vacation, also support our local economy, go to the restaurants, walk through the Malecon, and the survey says that they have had an excellent service, that they have feel secure and safe here in Puerto Vallarta. And well, we have been considered over the years as one of the safest beach destination in Mexico, since we have a very large Canadian and American community also that approves and supports these facts and statistics as well.
Right. Okay, that's great. Thank you so much, Elvira. I will come back for a few more questions, but I'm going to have a few questions for Jenny. Jenny, someone asked, and I think that you'll be able to answer this, can they surf in Puerto Vallarta?
In Puerto Vallarta, not really. The waves aren't that big, but if you go to the neighboring towns north, like Sayulita, you can there. Actually, Sayulita does host, I believe, once a year a surf competition. So yeah, you can.
Okay. Oh, excellent. Perfect. And another question here, Jenny. Someone asked, when are the flights starting? They mentioned they want to work from the beach.
I've actually just taken a look at that, and unfortunately, it would be, like Elvira said, October for Air Canada Vacations and WestJet, and roughly November for Sunwing and Transat. So not quite yet, but coming up soon.
Soon, yeah, for sure. Excellent. And another customer asked, what all-inclusives do you recommend? I know that's kind of a broad question. There's obviously resorts anywhere from 1 to 5 stars, so maybe you can just touch on that from your experiences.
Yes, Shannon, I have stayed in it all. I've stayed in it in a 1-star, I've stayed in a 5-star, I've stayed in a lot of resorts. It's a great question. I need to talk to you, the actual client, to see which hotel actually matches with them. So it would be best if they emailed me, and we could definitely talk. The email address, once again, winnipeg@selloffvacations.com.
Excellent. And Jenny will certainly take care of you there.
Yes.
Do her best to recommend what might suit you best. So that's perfect. Thank you, Jenny. Another question here as well. Is there diving and snorkeling nearby?
Yes, there is.
Yes.
Las Marietas is honestly like a half an hour catamaran boat ride. You can snorkel and dive there. There's Los Arcos. There's a lot of companies that will take you out. So yes, most definitely.
Okay. Excellent. And one more here, and then I'm going to go back to Elvira. I have actually a couple questions came in. Is Puerto Vallarta safe? And the other one has just said, how safe is it to venture off of the resort?
Oh my
So
God.
kind of those two are tied in.
Yeah. Asking the perfect person. Puerto Vallarta is so safe. I would not have lived there and put my own life in their hands if it wasn't. It's very safe. Of course, you don't go and do things that you wouldn't do at home, but yes, very safe.
That's right. Yeah, for sure. All right, Jenny, thank you so much. Elvira, I have a couple more for you. And I know Jenny could answer this one as well, but I know you could answer the same. Someone asked, is the water safe to drink in Puerto Vallarta? I guess from the tap. Is it safe to drink from the tap?
To drink it from the tap.
Okay.
Not, yes, as it is in Canada. So
but bottled water is certainly readily available.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, excellent. And someone else asked, where are the nicest swimmable beaches in Puerto Vallarta area?
Well, all of them are swimmable, as I said. We are protected by the bay. It's very easy. We are not in open waters as other regions in Mexico. But I will say, as I mentioned, probably they didn't understand it because their names are in Spanish. So the best ones that I recommend are Las Gemelas. Las Gemelas is the translation to Canadian to English. It'll be the Twins Beach.
The Twins.
Okay. Yes, the Twins. So you can just find it like the opposite and vice versa on Google. Playa El Caballo, I love it. It's very secluded. Like if you want to avoid any person or crowd, well, nowadays it's very difficult because we are trying with all these measurements and protocols to optimize the flow of visitors in the destination. So it is very safe to go out. Remember that if you see that it's not easy, there are certain protocols in the beaches as well that you have to follow. As a visitor, for example, you have to wear your face mask while you arrive to the public beach. You only can stay there for 4 hours, no more than that. You have to respect the social distance from one group to the other, at least 5 meters. And these, you have to follow all this. And another great swimmable beach is, I love Las Animas. Like in English, like the spirits or maybe Jenny can correct me. And our smallest beach in Mexico, which is Colomitos. Colomitos is wonderful. It's very unique. You will enjoy the hiking trail from Boca de Tomatlan, our town in the south, to this spot, you can also get the same trail to visit Playa El Caballo, Playa Madagascar, until Jalapa.
Okay, perfect.
One of them, my favorite.
Sounds like there's some great options there for sure.
Yes.
Okay, and one more here for you, Elvira. Someone said, what was the name of the restaurant that you included as your top tip at the end of your presentation? Can you please name it and spell it out as well? And I said, gracias.
For sure, I'm very glad. I have so many. It was very hard for me to respond to that question because there are plenty of good treats in Puerto Vallarta, but I will say El Barracuda, Restaurante El Barracuda, BARRADUCA, Barracuda.
Okay, perfect.
And I don't know, yes, I believe my spelling was good. The other one is the Happy Lobster. You have to find the Spanish translation of it because that's the authentic name, La Langosta Feliz or Happy Lobster. And I will mention another one, which is just right besides the Barceló Puerto Vallarta, the hotel. It's called El Jacalito, and its translation is, I didn't mention this previously, but this one you have to definitely try it. And it is, it's like the little house made of apalapa, and it has the cash of the day. It is very fresh daily in every restaurant, but this one is owned by a family that has one of the best recipes in town.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Elvira. I think that was all the questions I had for you. I'm going to skip back to Jenny for one or two more, and that'll be it for the evening. Jenny, someone asked, is it true that Puerto Vallarta is one of the top destinations for the LGBTQ family?
Yes, it is. In Old Town, like I talked about previously, it is a major hub for the LGBTQ. Back in 2002, really only one or two hotels would be a part of it. Many of you might know one as the Blue Chairs, but since 2002, they have expanded their area and they are very much welcomed in Puerto Vallarta.
Okay, that's great, perfect. And someone else actually asked, and I might just speak to this myself. They said, we love to go to Puerto Vallarta in the winter with a group. Is it true that when returning back to Canada, if you show a temperature when boarding the plane home, you will not be allowed to board the plane and left behind at the airport? I think just to say that that's a very, very fluid situation and changing quite often. And it will just depend. So I think it's best for you just to reach out to your travel agent when you're ready to book, because it can change so quickly. And, you know, rather than booking online, perhaps just give a call to one of our agents and we can most certainly give you the proper information at that time for that. So Sherry, that was it for the evening. I'm going to put it back to you, and thank you everybody for the information this evening. That was great, and the questions.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Shannon. Thanks, Elvira. Thanks, Jenny. And thank you everybody for joining us. I've definitely enjoyed all of my past visits to Puerto Vallarta. And as I said before, I definitely am looking forward to my next trip to Puerto Vallarta. So if you have posted a question and it didn't get answered, Shannon and Pam will be on the chat function for about 10 minutes after the presentation to answer those questions. You're also more than welcome, as always, to call SellOffVacations tonight. They are open until 9 p.m. Eastern time. And you can reach one of our agents at 1-877-735-5633. You can also contact our Puerto Vallarta expert agent, who is Jenny from our Winnipeg office, and her email is winnipeg@selloffvacations.com. So today's presentation, just like all of our past presentations, will be posted on our YouTube channel, which is My Sell Off Vacations. Please subscribe. You can also view on our channel any of the past, well, as the latest resort and airline COVID safety videos as well. We have all posted there, and those are free for you to view. So next Wednesday, we are going to be learning a little bit about cruising and sort of what's going on with the cruise lines. We're going to be having Norwegian Cruise Lines as our guests, and I hope you can join us then. Thank you, and bye-bye.
Bye. See you soon down here.
Bye-bye.